What a career it was for Bengals defensive end Sam Hubbard. He's no longer a Bengal. He's no longer a member of the NFL. Sam Hubbard retiring after 7 seasons. Let's break it all down right now on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Hi again, everyone, and welcome into CBT. I'm James Rapien of BengalsTalk.com. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and join the 53,000 plus Bengals fans that have subscribed. Make sure you check us out on audio as well, whether it is on Spotify, whether it's on Apple Podcast. Today's video brought to you by BetUS. And let's dive into the news of the day, and great news. Honestly, it's great news. And it's unfortunate that it had to happen this soon in the year 2025. But Sam Hubbard announced his retirement on Wednesday morning. It was news that sort of caught wind of at the combine that it could potentially happen. And look, it's just a heck of a career for Sam Hubbard. You're talking about a 3rd-round pick, played 7 years for the Bengals. Compiled, I'll pull the stats here, and I wrote them all for BengalsTalk.com. But over those 7 seasons, played 4,940 snaps, 104 regular season games, 398 tackles, 38.5 sacks. Oh, and he was a part of 2 teams that won the AFC North, 2 teams that made it to back-to-back AFC Championship games. He's part of the Hubbard Yard Dash at Paycor Stadium, arguably the biggest play from a playoff standpoint in Cincinnati Bengals history, certainly one of them. And he's just exactly what you want. Like, we're about to talk about the draft a ton, right? Free agency and then the draft. If the Bengals can find the next Sam Hubbard from a leadership standpoint, from a production standpoint, from all these things, you would love to find that on day 2 of the draft. And that's exactly what they did. In 2017, they took him with the 77th overall selection in that draft. And let's read his statement. He had a big thank you on social media, but part of it, I want to send a sincere thank you to my teammates, coaches, trainers, support staff, Bengals ownership, and the NFL for everything you all have done for me. I could not have done any of this alone. To the fans, Houday Nation, I thank you the most. You inspired me. From the years of struggle and adversity to Super Bowl 56, you never stopped believing. I hope I made you proud. And the part of this that is so storybook, I mean, the only better way I think would be to end it with a Lombardi, but it's the fact that we're talking about a Cincinnati kid. We're talking about a Moeller graduate. We're talking about someone that wore Bengal stripes when he was 7 and 8 and 10 years old. And so for him to go from Moeller to Ohio State, he meets Joe Burrow there. They reunite in Cincinnati, and he was such a big part of those teams. I think that's it's pretty storybook. The other storybook part of this, how about a defensive end catching a touchdown on his last NFL play ever? I mean, that is, I had to tweet it out when I caught wind that he was retiring. I was like, all right, well, I got to get this ready because this is Sam Hubbard's last NFL snap, and it's a heck of a catch. And he's like, this, trying to catch that ball, catches it, slams his knee on the ground. And that was the unfortunate part of the Hubbard ending. If there is one, it's because his body started to break down, for lack of a better term. He had that ankle injury last year, played through it, had to have tightrope surgery, which is extremely serious. It's a hard surgery to get through. And then this year had the hamstring injury in training camp, and then gets back, clearly not his normal self, and then has the knee issue when he lands on his knee and is out for the rest of the season when he hurts it on that touchdown catch. So it's just been one thing after another, but it's one heck of a run for Sam Hubbard. I'm going to read Mike Brown's statement and what he had to say about the Cincinnati kid, plus some just general thoughts about this news, what it means for the future of the Bengals franchise, coming up next. Today's video is brought to you by BetUS. Get in on all the action right now with BetUS by going to BetUS.com. Use code YouTube150 and get a 150% bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. That's free money that you can use and spend and hopefully win with. And that's the key with BetUS, is they have all the same game parlays, live bets that you could be looking for. And so whether it's Bengals NFL futures, Whether it's NBA, whether it's Major League Baseball, whether it's college basketball, they got you covered for March Madness and beyond. So go to BetUS.com today. Use code YouTube150 to get that 150% bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. Again, that's code YouTube150 at BetUS.com. All right, let's get to Mike Brown's statement about Sam Hubbard. He said, quote, Sam has always been and always will be a wonderful part of the Bengals organization and the entire Cincinnati community. Growing up here, he was a top youth athlete on local gridirons and lacrosse fields before becoming a standout football player at Ohio State. We were fortunate to have him draft him in 2018 and immediately knew that we added an outstanding player and an even better person to our team. And yeah, that's it's one of those things. By the way, I said 2017 draft at one point in this video. It is 2018. So there we go. I jumped the gun there on that. The 2017 draft was the John Ross and Joe Mixon draft. 2018 was the Billy Price, Sam Hubbard draft. So there we go. All right. I figured that part out. The other element here with Hubbard retiring, with all of these guys, by the way, the Bengals saved, they officially released him and he retired. It was basically the same time, 11 a.m. Eastern. They saved $9.5 million in cap space. So even more cap space to work with. They've continued to do that. I still think that the Jermaine Pratt move is coming at some point, so they can shed even more cap space. But you look at it, even with the T. Higgins tag, which is over $26 million, that brought them down to in the $42 million range. You account for rookies and practice squad and stuff like that, you're probably just over $30 million. Well, you just created $9 more million. You're at $41 million. You get a T. Higgins deal done, you could get back up to that $50 million mark. Again, that's with accounting for rookies and stuff like that over the cap doesn't necessarily do in real time. But this is it's not the end of an era because the Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, hopefully T. Higgins, Trey Hendrickson era is still here. But it is a pivot point where it's the end of one of the sagas of Bengals football for sure. And not just because of Hubbard, but because of all these guys. Like Mike Hilton probably going to sign elsewhere, Pratt, like all these guys that were on the 2021 Super Bowl team. A lot of them are different. And a lot of them are left around. BJ Hill is a free agent. Like key contributors, well, the roster is going to look a lot different next year. And you're seeing that. You're seeing the evolution now. Everything's shifting. And it's one of those things where they have to get it right. They have to get it right. Not that any of these moves, obviously, you're making all these moves. You're moving on from Kappa. You're moving on from Sam Hubbard like you needed to. But today is about Sam. We'll have plenty of time to talk about cap space. Congrats to Sam on a great career. Everything he did in the community, by the way, with Hubbard's Cupboards and all of the things he did at local schools across the tri-state was huge. And the thing that I'm excited about is I think he set himself up here he's only 29, for an awesome post-NFL career life in Cincinnati, where he's going to be able to make an impact. He's going to be able to be relevant. He's going to be able to be in Christ Hospital commercials and all of those things that he's done. I don't know why that would change because people here in Cincinnati still know him. So congrats, Sam, on a great career. And I know a lot of Bengals fans, all of Bengals fans probably feel the exact same way. We're going to have you covered, whether it's breaking news like this or other news all season long. Free agency is next week. The legal tampering period is Monday. I have Andrew Fox-Miller. I sent Andrew Fox-Miller a bunch of caffeine because we're going to be up. We're going to be wire to wire. We're not playing around at all. We're going to be ready to go here at CBT. And if you're looking for more Bengals news, I've written a ton already this morning at bengalstalk.com. So for Andrew Fox-Miller, I'm James Rapien. Thank you so much for watching and listening. By the way, today's video brought to you by BetUS. This is Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Certainly moving on from Alex Kappa was something we all saw coming.
This is just showing that the Bengals are obviously making space for free agency. What they do with it, of course, remains to be seen, but this is showing they're taking the matter seriously. We heard Duke Tobin, we heard Zach Taylor at the Combine talking about all this. The plan is in motion.